Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
The Mueller investigation is expected to be front and center during the confirmation hearing for President Trump's nominee for Attorney General. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill. What William Barr is prepared to tell senators about the special counsel's work.
Well, it's true, Bozeman is not immune to hate crimes. I'm Emma Hamilton reporting in Bozeman, and I'll have that story coming up next.
Good morning to you. Welcome to your Tuesday. It is 6:30. I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Matt Elwell will have our forecast in just a moment. Our top story for you right now. Confirmation hearings begin today for Attorney General nominee William Barr. President Trump chose Barr to replace Jeff Sessions.
Senators are expected to grill Barr about how he'll handle the ongoing special counsel investigation into Russian interference. CBS's Natalie Brand has more.
Attorney General nominee William Barr is prepared to tell Congress he believes special counsel Robert Mueller should be allowed to complete his investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. In prepared testimony, Barr says, if confirmed, I will not permit partisan politics, personal interests, or any other improper consideration to interfere with this or any other investigation. Barr also says it's very important that the public and Congress be informed of the investigation's results. South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham, the new chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, will lead today's hearing.
I think he's an outstanding choice, but I wanted to be challenged. I know it will be. I just want to be respectfully challenged.
Barr is expected to face fierce questioning by Senate Democrats concerned about a memo Barr wrote criticizing the Mueller investigation, arguing that the president should not be forced to submit to questioning by the special counsel.
There's many issues of importance, but one of the most important is, will he protect the Mueller investigation?
In his prepared remarks, Barr calls the memo narrow in scope, adding it did not address the core investigation. He also writes, quote, President Trump has sought no assurances, promises, or commitments from me of any kind. If confirmed, Barr says he will focus on prosecuting hate crimes and enforcing immigration laws, as well as protecting the right to vote and election integrity. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, Barr, who also served as Attorney General under President George H.W. Bush, is expected to win more than enough votes to be confirmed in the GOP-controlled Senate. We'll continue to follow the progress of those hearings today.
I'm sure. And CBS this morning will probably have something else as well. That's right.
Yep.
Matt joins us now. Chilly start to the day.
It's cold in a lot of areas, but temperatures kind of fluctuate a little bit, and we're seeing a pretty good spread in temperature. 17 below in West Yellowstone, 4 below in Butte. We're sitting at 6 in Belgrade. We're sitting near 15 degrees in Ennis. So the temperature spread's pretty great. We do have a little bit of cloud cover trying to work its way into our skies. I think by the afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies expected. That'll taper some of those daytime highs just a touch. We do have some snow in the forecast, though. We're going to break that all down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:33. We have more news from Washington, D.C. Congressional Republicans are barring a veteran lawmaker from serving on any House committees.
That as punishment for comments that he made defending white supremacy and white nationalism. CBS's News' Mark Liverman reports.
House Republican leaders have removed Representative Steve King from all committee assignments. It's in response to comments King made last week in an interview with the New York Times. In it, he said, quote, white nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did that language become offensive?
I just got off the phone with him and told him he will not be sitting on committees in the 116th Congress.
Was the committee unanimous?
Yes.
I'm on my way to an important meeting. I said all I'm going to say today.
King is a 9-term conservative congressman with a history of making racially charged remarks. He didn't defend his words on camera Monday night, but did issue a statement. In it, he said, quote, Leader McCarthy's decision to remove me from committees is a political decision that ignores the truth. King goes on to say the interview in question has been, quote, completely mischaracterized. Leaders on both sides of the aisle are drafting measures to punish King. Some are even calling on the congressman to resign. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Now, President Trump, when asked about the controversy, offered no comment, saying he hasn't been following the story. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said in a statement about King, quote, if he doesn't understand why white supremacy is offensive, then he should find another line of work, unquote.
Closer to home, Bozeman police and the FBI are investigating after a hate speech was found written on a resident's car over the weekend. TN's Emma Hamilton spoke with the victim and has our story.
Now, the hate crime happened right here on these windows behind me on the 1800th block of Remington Way. And the victim says he's completely unsure as to who would do this or why he would be targeted.
As far as how I take it as a reflection of Bozeman, I don't take it as a reflection of Bozeman.
The Bozeman Police Department and the FBI are actively investigating this case. The crime is a felony and a person can face up to 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $5,000, or both.
They're not often, but we're not immune from it either. And so just like any number of communities across the state and country, we periodically see crimes like this reported. And it's a crime that we take very seriously.
Both Murphy and his wife feel threatened by this hate speech on their property and have hopes of the investigation unveiling all of the details.
The truth. That's very important. Understanding the nature of this action, whether this is an actual representation of a hate group or whether this is some sort of act of intimidation or whether it's a prank. The scale of which is important for us to know as any community, so that we can respond to it appropriately. I just think that it's important for all of us to remember that we're neighbors and that we're all human and that we have to watch out for each other. And when these sort of things happen, you can't shy away. You involve those around you and let people know as a community that something like this exists so that we can address it as a community.
The Bozeman Police Department encourages anyone with any information pertaining to this case to give them a call at 582-2000. Reporting in Bozeman, Emma Hamilton, MTN News.
In other news, in the Bozeman area, a Bozeman woman accused of leading police on a high-speed chase on Saturday night before crashing into another vehicle appeared in Monday morning Gallatin court yesterday. Anna Alvaro is facing a charge of criminal endangerment. She's also facing probation violation for prior charges. Her defense attorney noted that Alvaro suffers from bipolar disorder and has not been receiving her medication while in custody. Her bail was set at $35,000. Her next court date is set for February 8th.
Well, no doubt about it, it's a hot real estate market in Montana, and if you're in the market for a home, there is a scam going around you should be aware of. In this particular scam, scammers will completely take over an email account of a real estate agent, send emails to their clients, asking them to wire a down payment or a portion of a down payment to what seems like a legitimate entity, when in reality it's a scammer. Hannah Stiff with the Better Business Bureau says Montanans have lost massive amounts of money to this scam.
Always double check. Always call your financial institution. Always call your agent or your realtor to say, hey, I just want to confirm that you did say to wire this much money for the down payment to X, Y, and Z entity. Double check every time before you send that much money or any money.
Now, for a list of current scams, go to our website for a link to the Better Business Bureau.
And Montana won a big victory yesterday at the U.S. Supreme Court in a long-time running case on the state's limits on campaign contributions. Basically, the High Court let Montana's laws stand. MTN's Mike Dennison explains and tells us what comes next.
Almost 8 years ago, several businesses and Republican Party groups sued the state, alleging Montana's legal limits on how much money you can give to a state office candidate are an unconstitutional restriction on free speech. A federal judge in Helena initially struck down the limits, but the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals overturned that ruling in 2017. On Monday, the U.S. Supreme Court, without comment, declined to accept an appeal of that decision, which means Montana's contribution limits will stand. One of the state attorneys who worked on the case says it was a big relief and a victory for Montana's citizens who don't want big money donors to dominate certain races.
Montanans have a long history of believing in that and fighting for it. And I mean, this is a citizen initiative that was put back in 1994.
Opponents of the limits argued that they're so low, they encourage political players to attempt to spend more money in other ways that's harder to track. Under Montana's current limits, a single PAC or individual can give a gubernatorial candidate no more than $1,360. The donation limits are lower for other statewide candidates and the legislature. McNaughton says the relatively low limits make Montana's political system unique, essentially requiring candidates to get a broader field of donors when running for office.
Instead of having higher contribution limits, which allow you to get money from fewer individuals, Montanans have said, we want you to go out, shake our hands, come talk to us, and raise your money directly from us, and hear from us what our issues are. so that when you show up at the legislature, you know what we're about.
Governor Steve Bullock's office also said that Montanans want transparency and limits instead of big money in campaigns, and that Monday's decision means some of those protections are here to stay. This case is finally over, but Montana's campaign finance regulations are not out of the legal woods yet. The U.S. Supreme Court is also deciding whether to accept a separate case challenging our 2015 campaign disclosure law. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Montana's disclosure law requires so-called dark money groups to report their donors and spending during the election time. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Big win for Montana. It is time for a quick break. Here's a look ahead on Montana this morning, as well as CBS This Morning.
It has been 10 years since the miracle on the Hudson when a commercial jet landed in the Hudson River. I'm Kenneth Craig with one passenger's story and how it's still affecting his life today.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, investigators reveal chilling details about the abduction and 88 days of confinement of 13-year-old Jamie Claus. We hear from healthcare leaders about how Jamie's community can help her heal. And seltzer is becoming America's drink of choice. The new flavors and products helping the multi-billion-dollar carbonated water business bubble over. See you at 7.